Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Raw Report for the 30th of August, 2021. Continuing to be one of the banes of the existence of professional wrestling, otherwise known as Monday Night Raw. 3-hour shows, been going on nearly 10 years. It'll be 10 years next year. Good gosh. Anyway, show recap. Damian Priest enters, gets a good reaction, talks about being happy to be the U.S. champion. He gets a "you deserve it" chant. Does he really? He wanted respect for the U.S. title in the way the past champions had it, and he included Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, and John Cena in that. Priest didn't want to be like Bobby Lashley, who ran away from a challenge last week. I can't even remember last week, so maybe he's telling the truth there. Anyway, Priest issues an open challenge and awaits challenge. Sheamus enters and wants to knock the smile off his face, take the title back. Drew McIntyre interrupts that he'd love to see Priest beat Sheamus for the 500th time, but it's probably time for something new. McIntyre notes he's never won the U.S. Championship and challenged Priest to a match tonight, and Sheamus is less than happy with this. Lashley and MVP interrupted their boot and greeted with Goldberg chants. MVP said they dealt with Goldberg already and that there's no reason for Lashley to issue an open challenge for the belt because he's already beaten everybody. MVP suggested Lashley beat Priest and become a double champion. Randy Orton and Riddle interrupt to Orton's music, and they received a big reaction, obviously. Orton said MVP is horrible and that Lashley is greedy, and Riddle wondered how he would have even held two belts. He struggled with the idea until Orton stopped him from talking. Lashley then said he didn't want two belts, but he didn't have to be U.S. title. Lashley wanted to be tag team titles. Riddle challenged Lashley and MVP to an open challenge. Orton told them not to that's not really how open challenges work, and then they accepted anyway. Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville enters. Pearce made the U.S. title triple threat match, Priest against Sheamus and McIntyre. Deville makes the tag title match official as well. As if we hadn't heard enough people running their yappers, Rhea Ripley grabs the mic to introduce Nikki Ash, who didn't get much of a reaction because they've already killed the gimmick off after her losing the belt so quickly. Anyway, Nia Jax also grabs the mic and threatens to flatten both Ripley and Nikki before doing the same to Charlotte Flair later tonight. Rhea Ripley with Nikki Ash defeats Shayna Baszler with Nia Jax 10 minutes and 30 seconds. At least Rhea and Shayna have a decent enough match. Baszler dominates the first 7 minutes or so of the match, and this includes through the break. Ripley gets her knees up and drapes and dared Baszler to come at her. Ripley mounts a comeback from there, hitting a dropkick and Northern Lights suplex for a 2 count. Baszler then tries applying an armbar, and Ripley blocks it off and gets a rope break. Baszler applies the Coquina clutch for a moment, but Ripley quickly counters, and at that moment, Jax runs over Nikki, gives her a Samoan drop outside the ring. Ripley and Baszler stop wrestling as this happened. Ripley then destroyed, so Baszler tries rolling her up, but Ripley reverses it into a roll-up of her own for the pinfall win. Jax lays out Ripley with the Samoan drop. After the match, the crowd liked Ripley, and Jax is booed for laying her out, as one would expect. Viking Raiders do a quick backstage promo. The raid is on. Viking Raiders defeat Jinder Mahal and Veer with Shanky 448. This goes too long. Eric makes a comeback. Ivar basically does a centaur off the apron. Mahal tries attacking from behind, but they gave him the Viking experience for the pinfall win. McIntyre is shown getting ready in the back. Triple threat match. Damian Priest defeats Drew McIntyre and Sheamus to retain the United States Championship in 21 minutes, 29 seconds. Long match. McIntyre and Priest work together to take out Sheamus early. Priest then sends him over the barricade into the Timekeeper's area. McIntyre and Priest are left standing, and they all go to a break 2 minutes into the match. Post-break, and just into the second hour, Sheamus is back. Nails Priest with a flying clothesline for a 2 count. Also go for McIntyre, throwing him into the ring post. Priest fights back. Sheamus cuts him off with a backbreaker. Sheamus nails Priest in the chest, and McIntyre goes after him with overhead suplexes and a neck breaker. Sheamus avoids charge from McIntyre and hits the post again. Priest knocks him down. Sheamus with a spinning heel kick. and then Priest hits McIntyre with a series of strikes. McIntyre boots him and knocks him out of the ring. McIntyre follows up with a big flip dive to wipe him out, and then he follows up with a Michinoku driver on Priest for the near fall. This leads to another big spot where Sheamus hung McIntyre upside down from the turnbuckles and sets up Priest for a superplex. McIntyre sets him up and sets them both down with a big suplex, and after the break, McIntyre and Sheamus traded strikes until Sheamus hits the Alabama Slam for a 2 count. Sheamus applies a cloverleaf, but Priest kicks him in the head with a choke slam, but McIntyre breaks up in the corner. Priest then sets up McIntyre for the reckoning. Sheamus brogue kicks him, and then Priest falls out of the ring so Sheamus could make a cover. McIntyre gives Sheamus Future Shock DDT and goes for the Claymore kick, but Sheamus catches him with a knee and close near fall. Sheamus hits a white noise from the middle rope, but McIntyre kicks out, and Priest dives in to break it up. McIntyre knocks Sheamus out of the ring with the Claymore kick. McIntyre and Priest have an exchange that leads to Priest hitting the Reckoning with a pinfall. Priest pins McIntyre. McIntyre shakes hands with Priest post-match. Excellent match in terms of by Raw standards. This was actually pretty good, but at the end of the day, it's a match people will forget within 2 weeks. And anyway, the announcer said they've got footage of Goldberg after the break. Live crowd sees Goldberg as being up next on the screen, and they think that means he's there live. They show footage of Goldberg telling a camera person that he needed surgery on his knee. He's angry about what Lashley had done to his son. He's coming back for the championship, and he's coming for Lashley's soul, and planned on ripping it from his chest. Bit of an overkill, if you ask me. Reginald has was at yet another park. Truth's behind him, and Tozawa is too. He's in a dog costume. Reginald saw them and manages to run away. WWE congratulates themselves for having 25 million Instagram followers, and not one of them is actually worth a hill of beans. Anyway, Eva Marie versus Doudrop match doesn't happen. Marie deliberately has her back turned as Doudrop makes her entrance. Doudrop attacks her from behind, beats her up, and lays her out. Doudrop pins her and counts the 3 herself. Referee tells Mike Rome to announce that Marie is now unable to compete tonight. Doudrop grabbed the mic and announced herself as the winner. Anyway, Sarah interviews Charlotte about Nia Jax. Charlotte isn't worried about her at all. Karrion Kross defeats Carrillo 4:16. This is a flat match. 4 minutes that felt longer than it needed to be. Carrillo mounts a comeback, but Kross gives him a salto suplex and puts him in the Kross jacket for the submission win. Kross is in the demolition bondage outfit, and the crowd's not caring about any of this. Jax tells Sarah that she's going to crush anyone who comes in her way. She wants to shove Charlotte's imaginary crown up her, backside. Third hour, Riddle and Orton discuss their match in the back. Riddle listed all his skills, and Orton walks away. Nia Jax defeats Charlotte Flair in a non-title match, 13:43. There is no reason Nia Jax needs to be in a nearly 14-minute match. They fight back and forth. Charlotte hits a dive, which leads to a break. Jax comes up with an ugly spine buster before the break, and hits a backdrop after the break that doesn't look any better. Charlotte tries a moonsault. Jax gets her knees up, and Jax hits a Samoan drop but misses a leg drop. Then they began shoving each other and gets mixed up on what they want to do next. They look legitimately angry with each other for a few seconds here. Jax hits a choke bomb for a pinfall, and this was a complete cluster mess. John Morrison tells Omos he's supposed to have a match against Miz, but he went back to Hollywood. Morrison wanted to impress his acting coach, so he challenged Omos to a match. Omos said, well, sucks to be you, walked off. And needless to say, Morrison isn't happy with this and says, yeah, he guesses it does. Omos with AJ Styles defeats John Morrison in 2 minutes. Morrison tries to avoid Omos for a good bit of time, but Omos knocks him down with a clothesline and wins with a tree slam. AJ Styles with Omos defeats Xavier Woods in 7 minutes 11 seconds. Not horrible, but also just match to fill time doesn't really have any real value. Styles wins clean with a tap out of the Cash Crusher. Woods is crawling to the ropes and almost gets there but tapped out, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. Match is fine. Crowd isn't into it probably. Um, After being flattened by the last two matches. Plus, at the end of the day, matches with no real story don't generally do well anyway. AJ Styles joins on commentary for the main event. He seems to surprised to learn about the match and buries MVP and Lashley. Riddle and Orton defeat Lashley and MVP to retain the tag team championships in 11:55. Riddle wipes out MVP and Lashley with a dive, then go to the break. Heels work over Riddle during the break. Orton makes a hot tag, hits MVP with clotheslines, punches, and a power slam. Orton sets up for the RKO, but decides to give Lashley a draping DDT instead. MVP boots Orton, sends him into the post. Lashley then tags in and works over Orton until Riddle tags himself in. Riddle hits a bad-looking Pele kick, attempts a ripcord knee strike, and a floating bro. MVP breaks up the corner and stomps on Riddle's foot. Lashley then goes after Orton on the outside. Orton shoves him into the post, almost then puts his hands on Orton, but Riddle saves him and drop kicks almost. Styles goes after Orton, but Orton drops him on the announce table. Riddle then gives MVP the floating bro for the pinfall. Crowd is happy for the win. After Riddle's celebration, Lashley spears him. Lashley goes to do more damage, but Orton gives him an RKO. Orton stands with Riddle, and the show ends. At least they're trying to push babyface team in some form. But anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.